We're going to be in Ephesians 6 today, talking about the relationship with children and their parents. Paul has been talking about Christian relationships for the past few chapters in Ephesians, particularly starting in chapter 4 when he showed how we are his church, we are his people, we are members of one another, we are to put off anger, we're to put off lying, we're to put off taking, we're to put off bitterness and malice and wrath and things like that, and we're to put on tenderheartedness and love, forgive each other like we've been forgiven, and love each other like we've been loved. And he threw that also into the context of the marriage, that husbands are to love their wives as Christ loved the church, that wives are to submit to their husbands as unto the Lord. And then he says in chapter 6, concerning our families, he says, children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and mother. This is the first commandment with a promise, that it may go well with you, that you may live long in the land. Fathers, do not provoke your children to anger, but bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. He's two things for children, to obey and honor, and one thing for fathers, not to provoke their children. You know, ultimately, when you think of parenting, the goal of parenting is not to raise great children, but it's to raise children who understand that they are accountable to God. And in understanding that they are accountable to God, they understand that we as parents are accountable to God. So that their obedience to us as parents is a reflection of their respect and honor and obedience to God. That's why it says, in the Lord, that they know God put us over them. We need to teach them that as we rise up and as we lie down. We need to talk about the commandments of God and the finished work of Christ and the creation and all of those things, so they would understand that there is a God who has placed them in this family, and therefore they have been called to obey their parents and honor their parents. Obedience and honor shouldn't be an odd thing in the lives of children today, particularly in the church. It should be the norm. Of course my children obey. Of course my children honor. Why? Because they want to honor the Lord. And then he says to us fathers, he said, fathers, don't exasperate your children. As a matter of fact, he says it like this, do not provoke your children to anger, but bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. You know, as fathers, we have an incredible responsibility to raise our children in the ways of the Lord, but we're not to do it in a mean-spirited way, and we are not to do it with expectations that they do all that we say that we want them to do, but we need to do it in the fruit of the Spirit with love and joy and peace and patience and kindness. And yes, hold them accountable. Yes, discipline them, but don't do it in a way that frustrates them. God designed the family to follow Him and His Word, and I hope that's what you're going to do in your family in response to these words today.